oversubscription of shares. So what is actually oversubscription of share is that what happens that sometime, let's suppose, company have total authorized capital of rupees. Let me give you an example. Let's suppose authorized capital of the company is 2 lakh, which is divided into 1,000 equity shares, 20,000 equity shares, having a face value of 10 each. And out of this, company have decided to issue let's suppose 15,000 shares. Out of this, company have only decided to issue 15,000 shares having a face value of 10 each. Now, what happens that sometimes shares are oversubscribed. That means even though company have issued 15,000 shares, but company may receive application in respect of more share. That means the company have actually issued 15,000 share, but people have applied for more share than company have actually issued. So let's suppose company have received application from public in respect of, let's suppose 18,000 share, or let's suppose 20,000. Even though company have actually issued 15,000, but company have received application for 20,000 share having a value of 10. Now, when this situation is called situation of oversubscription. This is what we call oversubscription of share. Oversubscription of share. All right. I hope you understand till this point. So, out of authorized capital 20,000, company have issued only 15,000, and
Excuse me,
even though
sir.
company had, yeah.
Can you repeat, please? Because I disconnect due to
Okay, so
network.
all right, no problem, Brenda. Let me tell you one more time. So what I was saying is that company, let's suppose there is a company XYZ Limited. All right, and its total authorized capital was 20,000 shares, having a face value of 10 each. Out of which company have decided to issue for the time being. Company just wanted to raise 1,50,000 from the public, and therefore company have issued 15,000 shares having a face value of 10 each, right? But people is more interested in buying the shares of this company, and therefore company have actually received application in respect of 20,000 shares. Company have only issued 15,000 shares, but application that company have received is in respect of 20,000 shares. So this is called oversubscription of share. Public have applied for more number of shares than the company have actually issued. All right. Now, if the shares are oversubscribed, then company have three alternatives, three options available. Firstly, company may outrightly reject the excess number of applications received. First option is what? Company may reject the excess applications received. Excess applications received. Option number one. So as per our example, since company have actually received 20,000 applications, and if company want to cancel or basically reject the access application received, so that means company will have to return the access amount that it has received on application. Return the amount. If company is rejecting the access application, that means company will have to return or refund the amount that it has received from the investors. So in respect of, as per our example, company will have to refund application amount in respect of 5,000 shares. This is option number one. Company may decide not to issue more share than it has issued. Company may outrightly reject the excess application received. All right. Option number two, instead of rejecting the access application, what company may also do, company may issue the share on proportionate basis. Company may issue shares to shares to investors on proportionate basis. So what do you mean by proportionate basis? It means, let's suppose if any investor has applied for 100 shares, company, instead of rejecting his application, company may allot him only 90 shares. Then some of the investors who have applied for 200 shares, apart from rejecting his entire application, what company may also do, company may allot this investor 150 shares. This is called the proportionate allotment of shares. Instead of returning his amount that he had paid on application, instead of returning the excess applications that company have received, instead of canceling or rejecting the application, what company have decided to do, company have decided to retain the amount of application that people have actually paid and allot investor share against them on proportionate basis. That means not everybody is going to get the exact number of shares for which they have actually applied for, but they will be getting some share. Company won't be returning the amount, company won't be rejecting their application, but they won't be getting the number of shares for which they have actually applied, but they will be getting some application, some shares. Everybody is going to get some shares because company have decided to allot shares in respect of every application. But the thing is that not every investor is going to get the number of shares for which they have actually applied, but company will be allotting some shares on proportionate basis. How much shares company will be allotting to investors, that company will decide only. But if company decide to allot shares instead of rejecting the access application, that is called proportionate allotment of shares. What do we call it? We call it proportionate allotment of shares, or we also call it pro rata allotment of shares. Pro rata allotment of shares, or also proportionate allotment of shares. You don't have to write this down. Just pay attention, try to understand. I hope this is clear to everybody till this point. If company have received the application in respect of the number of shares issued, which is more than the application that company have received is more than the number of shares issued, then that is a case of oversubscription. And if there is oversubscription, company may decide to reject the entire access application that it has received and return or refund the entire amount to the investors in respect of access application. And company may also decide to issue shares to investor on proportionate basis, which is called pro rata. In this situation, every shareholder, every investor will be getting some shares for the application that they have made, but not the exact number of shares for which they have applied with the company. They will be getting the share on proportionate basis or the pro rata. And company have third option as well. What company may also do, company, this is called partial allotment of share. This is called, this is called combination of both. The third case is company may apply a method wherein it may apply the combination of both. So what do you mean by combination of both? Combination of both means company, in respect of some applications, company may reject some application some applications. Like if company have received 1800 20,000 application for 15,000 shares, then company may decide to reject 200 shares outrightly. Company may reject 200 shares or application in respect of 200 shares, and for in respect of remaining 1800 shares or 1800 application, what company will do in respect of 1800 application, company may choose to apply partial allotment or proportionate allotment of share. Partial allotment or pro rata allotment of share. Do everyone understand this? All of you, please confirm if this is clear or not. Is it clear to everybody? Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Prerna, Zainab, Chika, Adib. Adib, is that clear to you as well? Okay, so I'm assuming that it is clear to you because I'm not getting any response from your side. Anyway, so like we took example that the issued capital was 15,000 and application received in respect of 20,000 shares. So company may reject 5,000 application and allot 15,000 shares in respect of the application received. Then company may also choose to allot the shares on pro rata allotment. What company will be doing in case of pro rata allotment? That since company have only issued 15,000 shares, na? So or in respect of in respect of 20,000 shares, in respect of 20,000 applications, company will only issue 15,000 shares. Company will be issuing shares in respect of all the application. Remember that company will be issuing application shares in respect of all the application, but not everybody is going to get the exact number of shares for which they have applied for. But in case of the combination of both, if company have received 2,000 application in respect of 20,000 shares, company may reject 2,000 out of it, and in respect of remaining 18,000 shares, what company will do to the 18,000 application, company will issue 15,000 shares on proportionate basis. 15,000 divided by 18,000. This shows proportionate allotment. This is the rejection of shares. All right, and this is 100% pro rata. Prerna, is that clear? Anna, is that clear to you? Shifa?
Yes.
Okay. So if it's clear, all of you, kindly note this down. Okay, please note this down. And then we'll move to the next concept. We'll talk about the accounting treatment for all these different situations. We'll try to understand how we will treat it, what journal entry will be required to do if the shares, if the excess applications received by the company is being rejected outrightly. If company have decided to allocate or allot the shares on proportionate basis, what entry will be required in that situation, and when company opt to choose the combination of both, then what and how the situation will be treated in from the accounting point of view. Kindly note this down and just let me know once you are done so that we can move to the accounting treatment. Let me know everyone once you are done. Once you are done.
Done, sir.
Just a moment, let everyone finish, and then we'll move to the next slide.
Done, sir.
Okay. So, guys, the first thing we need to learn is the accounting treatment if company decide to reject the access application that it has received in respect of the issue of shares. So, in such a situation, see what we usually do as soon as we receive the application, we need to pass the entry for the receipt of application amount, right? And the entry for the receipt of application is bank account debit to share application account. Is that right? This is the entry that we do when the application amount is received on issue of shares. Is that correct? Bank account debit to share application account. Then the next entry that we'll be required to do is for the transfer of share application to share capital. But when basically if the company have decided to cancel or reject the shares, reject the application, in that situation, the journal entry will be share application to share capital to bank account. Do you understand this? Share application account debit to share capital to bank. Sir, why bank account? Because the excess amount that we have received on application, we'll have to return that amount. Na? So bank account need to be credited. Shifa, Prerna, Zainab, is this entry clear, everybody? Adi, Shifa, Prerna, Zainab, please confirm if this is clear. Okay. So just do one thing. Just please note this down. We'll take an example to understand this entry, and then we'll move to the next alternative. Kindly note this down. We'll try to understand it more in a better manner to one example.
Done, sir.
Done. Okay. All right. So, okay. Let's try to understand this situation through an example. Let's suppose the example number one. Let's suppose company have actually issued 20,000 shares and company was supposed to receive the entire amount in respect of application by way of 4 installment, 4 rupees per share on application, on allotment fee per share, first call 2 and on final call. Company is expecting to raise 1 rupees per share. So the total face value of the share will be 10 per share. Okay. Now what happens after the issue of share? Company have actually received application subscribed share, or in fact application received in respect of 35,000 shares. However, company have actually issued 20,000 shares. We will have applied for more number of shares. And we need to pass the entry assuming that, let's suppose, case one is company have decided to reject the excess application. Company decided to reject excess applications. All right. Now, keeping that in mind, let's pass the journal entry. I'm not going to pass the entry for all the installment. We'll just talk about the entry for the application. All right. Through that, you'll be able to understand how do we treat the rejection of application, access application. All right. So, journal entry. Could you please tell me the journal entry that we'll have to do? The first journal entry that we have to, we'll have to pass the journal entry for what? Tell me. First entry will be for. Anyone please tell me? First entry will be for what? For the receipt of application money. Is that right? Rina, Shifa, Deep,
Yeah,
Janab?
yes, sir. On application.
Yes. So first entry will be on application. So on application, what journal entry will be doing? Sir, it's very simple. We'll write down bank account debit. Bank account will be debited by what amount? It will be debited by the amount that we have received on application. Now see, people have actually applied for how many shares? 25,000 shares. So we must have received application amount in respect of 25,000 shares, and on each application people must have paid the amount of application, which is 4 rupees per share. So we must have received 25,000 into 4, which is 1 lakh rupees, and 2 share or equity share capital. Okay, this will also be 1 lakh. Got it? Is this clear? This entry is clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we'll have to pass one more entry for the transfer of share capital to share. So we need to transfer. I think I have made a mistake. I'm sorry. Journal entry will be bank account debit to share application. Na? No one even corrected me. I'm sorry. It should be bank account debit to share application. I'm sorry. Now it is clear, everyone. It will be bank account debit to share application account 1 lakh. This is the amount that we have received on application. Now we need to pass the entry for the transfer of share application amount to share capital. And as keeping that in mind, that company will be rejecting excess amount of application received. So the journal entry will be for transferring the share application to share capital. Journal entry, if you're able to recall, anyone, please tell me. What is the journal entry for the transfer of share application to share capital? In general, it is
Share.
no.
Application account debit.
Share application account debit
To share capital account.
to share capital account. Yeah. share capital. Now see, company have received application in respect of 25,000 shares into 4. That means total of 1 lakh has been received on application, right now. And but company have decided to reject access application. That means company just wanted to issue how many shares? 20,000 shares. So share capital account will only be credited by the number of shares company have decided to issue. So that means 20,000 into 4 can only be credited to share capital account. So 20 into 4 will be 80,000. That much only can be credited to share capital account. So what about the access application? We have credited the share application amount in respect of 20,000 shares only to the share capital. So what about the remaining 5,000 shares? So we'll have to return the excess amount. Na? So for that, we'll write down to bank account. Bank account will be credited by that value. If 5,000 into, so that means 20,000 need to be refunded. It needs to be returned to the applicants. Is it clear now? This is how we pass the general entry. The company have decided to reject the access application. So what about the other entries, like entries for the allotment, for the first and final call? Those entries will be done as usual. The way we used to do the entries, we will be doing the entry for the remaining installment as usual. Change will be in case of the entry for the application only. Other entries will be same as we used to do. I hope this is clear. Prerna, Janab, Chifaz, Adi, please confirm if this is clear or not. Do I need to explain it anything again?
No, sir, it's clear.
Yes, it's
Is
clear.
it clear? You're not responding. Okay. Janab, is that clear to you as well? Okay. She's not going to respond anyway. Anyways, let's continue to the next entry. Now we will talk about the situation number 2, general entry in case of the company have decided to allot the share on pro rata basis. That means all the applicants will be allotted the shares on pro rata basis. That means on basically partial allotment will be done. In that situation, general entry for the application will be same as we used to do. Bank account debit to share application account. But since company have decided to allot the shares in respect of all the application, that means this time there will be no entry required for the rejection of the amount, right? Then what about the access application that we have received? Sorry, access amount that we have received on application. How are we going to adjust that? Like if we take our example where we have only issued 20,000 shares and public have applied for 25,000 shares. The thing is that if people have applied for 25,000 shares, then we have received 20,000 extra. We should have actually received 80,000 only. If people would have subscribed 20,000 shares at rupees 4 per application, we must have received 80,000 only. But we have received 20,000 extra, right? And we have decided not to return the excess amount. Then what are we going to do with that? So the answer is, if we have decided to retain this amount, we have decided not to reject the application and return the excess amount, then in that case, we will be adjusting the access amount that we have received towards the other installment. So what do you mean by other installment? Other installment means towards the allotment, or it could also be adjusted toward the first call, final call. You understand that? Whatever the access amount that we have received from the applicant, we can adjust that amount towards the other remaining installment of the shares. So if we have received 20,000 extra, that can be adjusted toward the allotment. So when it comes to when the due date of the allotment will arise, we will ask the investor to pay towards the allotment after reducing what he have already paid at the time of application. Do I make sense? Is that clear, everybody? In case of pro rata allotment, no amount is returned or refunded to the applicant that we have received in respect of access application. Then how are we going to do that? We will be adjusting the access amount towards the remaining installment. This may be first call, final call, or it could also be adjusted towards the allotment. Am I making sense, everyone? Is it clear to all of you? Shifa, Prerna? Prerna, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So just do one thing. For the timing, just note the now. Just write down the journal entry. See, this entry indicates the application amount that we have received at the time of transferring the share application to share capital. General entry will be share application to share capital, and the access amount that we have received, it will be adjusted toward the allotment. Or if the access amount is that much that even after adjusting it toward the allotment, there is some amount which is left, then that remaining amount can also be adjusted toward the first call. All right. So the thing is that excess amount will be adjusted either towards the allotment or first call or toward all the remaining installment if the application is received in such higher value. Please please note this down in your notebook. We'll try to understand this through an example as well. But kindly note this down for now. Done, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Done, Shifa?
Yes, sir.
So let me do some alteration. Example number 2. Example number 1. So this is example number 2, wherein everything is same. Company have issued 20,000 shares and company was willing to raise all the amount on 4 installment on application allotment post and final call. And instead of 20,000, company have received the application in respect of 25,000 shares. So what company this time is trying to do, company have decided to adjust the excess amount towards the allotment. So whatever the excess amount that it has received on application, the company will be adjusting that towards the allotment. It is specifically given in the question that in respect of which installment that excess amount will be used. It says it will be adjusted toward allotment. So we will have to adjust the excess amount toward the allotment only. Okay. So now in such a situation, how are we going to pass the entry? This is how we will be doing it. Firstly, we'll pass the entry in respect of application. which will be bank account debit. Again, if we have received application in respect of 25,000 share into 4, total of 1 lakh will be received, will be debited to bank account to share application 1 lakh. And now pay attention, try to understand. And while passing the second entry, you will have to ensure that you won't be returning the excess amount. So on the transfer of share application to share capital entry, we'll write this as share application account debit. Right? Share application account debit by what amount? Sir, 1 lakh obviously. To share capital. We can transfer to share capital only the number of share which has actually been issued. So 20,000 shares into 4. 80,000 will be transferred to share capital account. What about the remaining amount? The remaining amount will be used toward the share allotment to share allotment account. How much it will be? 20,000. Got it? Is this clear, everybody? Adib, Chitra, Prerna, and Zainab. Please confirm if it is clear or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's also cover the entry for the allotment so that the effect of this entry can be much more clear to you. How it is going to affect the allotment entry, that is also very, very important. So, and now we'll be passing the other entry, second entry on allotment. What is the entry for the allotment usually? What entry we do when to make the allotment due? What is the entry? Tell me, anyone. What is the entry to make the allotment money due? Anyone is going to tell me that? Share allotment account debit to share capital account. This is the entry for making the allotment money due. Share capital account, right? Now tell me, allotment money we will be raising allotment money in respect of how many shares? 25,000 shares or 20,000 shares only? We will be raising the allotment money in respect of how many shares? 20,000 shares or 25,000 shares? Answer is in respect of shares that we have actually issued, 20,000 shares. And how much we will be raising? How much we will be? How much we want to raise on allotment? We will be raising 3 per share on allotment, right now. So we will be multiplying this with 3. So we will get 60,000. Is it clear, everybody? Tell me, is it clear? Yes or no? To share capital, 60,000. Guys, please confirm now if you are able to understand this or not. Adib, Shifa, Prerna, Zainab. Am I audible, all of you? Because I'm not getting any response from your side. Please confirm if I'm audible to all of you or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
Kindly response. Kindly give some response. On allotment, general entry will be share allotment account debit to share capital. This is the first entry that we do for making the allotment due. Now we need to pass the entry for the receipt of allotment money, right now. And that entry will be done like this: bank account debit. Tell me how much amount we will be debiting to bank account. How much we should debit to bank account? So 60,000 need to be debited to bank account in respect of share allotment, but 20,000 in respect of allotment have already been received at the time of application only. Right? We have already received 20,000 in access that is adjusted towards the allotment. So are we going to raise 20,000 again from the investors? Answer is no. Since investors have paid in access at the time of application and the excess amount has been adjusted toward the allotment, so this amount which has already been paid by the investor, we need to subtract that amount, that value. Is that right? And the remaining value will be debited to bank account, which is 40,000 only. That means at the time of allotment, we will be receiving 40,000 only. Why? Because 20,000 has already been received. Total of 60,000 we need to collect, we need to raise on allotment, out of which 20,000 has already been paid. Remaining amount we will be raising from the investors. Bank account debit 40,000 to tell me share allotment account. It makes sense, everyone? Is it clear or not? Is it clear, everybody? Kindly give some response.
It's clear, sir.
Okay. If it is clear, we are moving to the next concept. If company decide to cancel some shares and allot shares in respect of remaining application on proportionate basis, that is considered a situation of combination where company is applying both the alternatives at the same time. And in that situation, journal entry will be this. On application, we'll be passing bank account debit to share application account. And when it comes to the transfer of share application to allotment, what we do, because we are returning some amount in respect of some application, so that will be share application account, share capital, and some of the excess application will be adjusted toward the allotment, and some in respect of some application we will be returning the amount. So it contains both the account, share allotment account, and to bank account as well. Both share allotment and bank account will be credited at the same time, because we are returning some amount for some application and we will be allotting share in respect of the remaining application on proportionate basis. Excess amount that we have received will be used for the allotment. I hope this is clear, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Okay, kindly note this down.
Done, sir.
Done, everyone else? Shifa?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. Let's quickly discuss. Let me check if I have any question that we can discuss in today's session or not. Yeah, I think we can start with question number 35 for the time being. Question number 35 says Sangam Limited invited application for 20,000 equity shares of rupees 100 each issued at par. The amount was payable on application. The issue was oversubscribed by 5,000. That means 25,000 application has been received. And allotment was made on pro rata basis past necessary journal entry. Do you want to try this question, everybody? Prerna, Chifa, do you want to give it a try?
Sir, can you do the first one?
Okay, no problem. Okay, everybody see. First one is, first of all, let's try to figure out what question is actually trying to tell us. Question is saying that Sangam Limited have actually issued 20,000 equity share having a face value of 100 each, issued at par. And since the question is not giving us the information about the installment in which company is willing to raise the entire amount, there is no information regarding the allotment percent final call. It simply means that company is willing to raise the entire amount in one go. That is on lump sum basis, no installment. So let me summarize this question. Issued share is 20,000 and the issue price is basically face value of the share is 100 per share, and company must be willing to raise all the amount in respect of the share on basically on one go on lump sum basis. Therefore, the allotment first and final call information regarding these installment is not given in the question. And it says that company have actually received application in excess of 5,000. It means total application is received for 25,000 shares. And question is telling us that we need to pass the entry by assuming a situation of pro rata. We need to pass pro rata allotment. So we need to basically consider a situation of pro rata. So journal entry for this is very, very easy because company is basically, now see, the thing is that this company have received 25,000 application, but company have actually issued 20,000 shares, and company is willing to raise the all money to the application only, right? That means all the money should be paid on lump sum basis. Then excess amount that we have received, can we adjust the excess amount toward any other installment? Will it be possible for us to adjust the excess amount towards any other installment? Answer is no. Why? Because there is no other installment available. Investor is required to pay all the amount in one go. So the excess application that we have received, we will have to return the excess amount. Even though question says that we need to do the pro rata allotment of share, but the thing is that the excess amount that we have received, we cannot adjust that excess amount toward any other installment. Then how can we do the pro rata allotment? Pro rata allotment of share is only possible if shares are issued on installment basis. Right? If we need to raise some amount on application, on allotment, and first and final call, then only the excess application amount that we have received will be adjusted toward any other installment, mostly on allotment. The thing is that in this situation, in this example, in this question, in fact, there is one company is raising the entire amount in one go on lump sum basis. So the access application will have to return. We will have to return the excess amount. There is no other options that we have that is available with us. So journal entry will be on receipt of application money. It will be firstly bank account debit. Bank account will be debited by 25,000 into 100, right? So 25 lakhs to share application, or you can call it share application and allotment. To share application 25 lakhs. Got it, everyone? Is this clear? This is the entry for the receipt of application money. Then we will pass the entry for the transfer of share application to share capital, and for that, journal entry will be share application account debit to share capital account. Now we have received application in respect to 25,000 share, and against which we have received 25 lakh. But share capital account can only be credited by such amount for which the share is actually received, a share is actually issued. So we have actually issued 20,000 shares. 20,000 into 100, that means 20 lakhs. That can only be credited to share capital. So what about the access application that we have received? Can we adjust that towards allotment, toward first call, toward final call? Answer is no. Why? Because there is no other installment in this question. So we will have to return the excess amount that we have received. No other option to bank account. 5 lakhs. Tell me if it is clear, everyone, or not.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay, so this is how we will do this question number 35. I hope all of you must have written this down. Shifa, is that clear? Any doubts, anyone?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so this was question number 35. I'm giving you question number 36 as the homework. Can you take the screenshot? This is a situation wherein company will be raising the fund on various installment, application, allotment, and final and first call is there. Question is requiring us to pass the journal entries. Whenever it says we need to pass the journal entry, we need to pass the entry for all the installment, for the application, for allotment, for first and final call. Okay. So this is the homework question that I'm giving you. It is not that difficult, but since it is the first question of this topic, so you might have some difficulty solving it. But anyways, I want you to try this question at least. And if you face any difficulty, if you have problem solving it, then we'll talk about this question in the next section. Okay. So let me check if any other question is also available, which I can give you as a homework. Yeah, also take the screenshot of question number 37. So these two questions will be the homework questions. All right, everyone. So this is it, Prerna, Shifa, Adib. Today we talked about the oversubscription of shares. We talked about 3 different situations that may arise in case of oversubscription. We did accounting treatment of all those. We also discussed a question based on it. We'll talk about this. We'll talk more about the oversubscription, especially the pro rata allotment. Make sure you don't skip the classes. Next class is going to be very, very important because these are the very basic questions of the chapter that we discussed until now. But from the next session onward, the full-fledged question will be discussed in the session, and all those questions will be discussed which are usually asked in your examination. Make sure you don't skip the session and join the session on time. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you in the next session.